Tahiti, Papeete, the capital of Tahiti, is 45 minutes by ferry from Moorea. 3 out of the 4 girls have never set foot off the island. Why is that? No interest, no money. They are all interrelated, even though I'm sure they're all friends, but the commonality is that the drug of choice for these people is the sheer beauty and the desire to not have to break my ass. I'm in paradise. I don't understand that I'm in paradise, but it's paradise, and I can't explain it to you. But over thousands of years of reproducing with the same people, the same type of people, passing on those genetic traits, there is no desire to break your ass. And no necessity, no shortage of water, no shortage of food, no shortage of fresh air, no shortage of sunshine. There's a shortage of the will to succeed, the desire to succeed, and a very peculiar and intense desire for males to dominate. I chose 4 models and completed 4 paintings, which will be shown as a quadryptic. I'm sure you all know what that means. And it was done in acrylics, and each girl, although not necessarily identifiable, represents precisely who she was to me and how she relates to the island and to how islanders live day to day. And one girl, Tahani, I want to tell you briefly about. She was the first one, and very quiet, but very, very sweet and very cute. She was pregnant. And she had already had 1 baby. And she's pregnant with another baby. The story is that her boyfriend, nobody gets married. They get pregnant and they have children, and the course of action is once you have the baby, you give it to the grandparents to take care of, because you don't have any money to take care of it, but it's become a custom. And she wound up getting the shit beat out of her on a daily basis from her boyfriend, who laid there on the couch, smoked a joint. When she came home, beat the shit out of her. And apparently this goes on not just there, but here as well, but uniquely there. And she said she was tired of it and she wanted to get even with him, so she buddied up with his partner in what? I guess they have some kind of little business there. And she got pregnant by him. And now she's going to have the baby, and this is the way it goes. A woman can't even look at another man. I guess that's worldwide. But it just seemed like it was so pronounced here. Every girl told me the same thing. As a matter of fact, one of the girls, which you'll see, is the girl that is in a red dress and smoking a cigarette when she came to model for me. She drank all my beer. Yeah, I do this personality. Worked in a French restaurant. And I knew she had up to the restaurant. I was eating alone, and she comes to work, and we say hello, and we're talking for a few minutes, and all of a sudden, I'm looking back into the kitchen, and if I tell you, one of the most magnificent men I have ever seen. He was so drop-dead gorgeous, with unbelievable black hair and blue eyes, and with a baseball cap backwards. I just thinking about it, I said to her, "Is that your boyfriend?" And she, "Who?" I said, "The guy in the kitchen with the hat turned around." "Oh, yes, he is really good looking. Please invite him to come over and talk to me." And she looked at me and she says, "Oh no, he's working. He won't come out, he's working." "Oh, okay." I finished dinner, and just about I'm getting ready to pay and leave, I see him standing. There's the kitchen, and then after you come out of the kitchen, there's a counter, and he's staring at me. with a look that if looks could kill, I'd never leave the island. He knew that I was the artist doing the art with her and was very uncomfortable and just wanted me to know who she belonged to. I never saw her again after that night. Now the girl on the upper left, to the left of the girl in the red dress, was a masseuse at one of the better hotels. And that's considered a top job. And she had probably the most charming personality of all. And she was very up for this, and a lot of our communications had to be done through Google Translation. And it was hard because I'd give her the computer that she handed back to me. But we did. And just a delightful personality. And the reason that she looks the way she does is because you can sense the conflict. Her left arm I made very dark. And her right arm much lighter, to give the viewer a concept of the interactions of race. I mean, there are very few pure Tahitians anymore. They're all introduced to Europeans, and that's part of their beauty. They're just beyond Eurasian beautiful. And she had a conflict with who she was. This poor girl cried so, and I don't think she's cried. I mean, she came in happy as can be. And you can't fool her. She knows she's being abused. She knows everybody's being abused. And I just, as an outsider, showed her a truer way of looking at the abuse. Without trying to be, I told you so, or listen to me, I know better. None of that. Now tell me, what kind of children have been reproduced? That's the main concern for me. This guy who beats her, and she who accepts it, that sperm and that egg made what? The last girl on the lower right, wearing a necklace and her face painted, reminds me of, it brought me back to, because of her personality, it brought me back to, oh, maybe hundreds of years ago when Tahitians were warriors and painted their faces. There was something about her, not necessarily a warrior, but that was in the past. Very nice, but very distant, and willing to talk, but wouldn't, or didn't, or couldn't, whatever. But her face was so interesting that I had to show some part of her history that I felt was prevalent someplace in her DNA. And she worked as a waitress in the best restaurant there. I don't think she was the brightest light bulb in the restaurant, but very nice. So that's what the Devil Island represents to me, and I wonder if you can, you know, this is not a topographical or a geological scenario in terms of looking for the devil in the island or volcanoes and things. This is what the beauty and the price you pay for that beauty.